back again to my YouTube channel. I want to share with you some of the questions that my students saw in the exam hall. So peradventure they repeat the questions again or something similar to it. If you are joining this channel for the first time, please do well to subscribe to this channel because you have a lot to gain. With no further ado, let's get right into the video. Question 1. Which of the following dimensions represents tension? We have the following options. Option A, mLt per minus 2. Option B, mLt per minus 1. Option C, mLt. Option D, ml. Now, solving this question, what will come to your mind is this: what is tension? Okay, tension is a force, and because it's a force, you are going to say that that force is equal to what? Mg, right? Now, what is mg? Mass multiplied by acceleration. Okay, so we have that tension is a force, right? Then it's equal to what? Mg or ma. It's still the same thing. So now, what is my mass? Mass is what? Kilogram. My g is measured in meters per second what? Square. This is the unit of tension because it is also measured in Newton. Is that clear? Now, what you're going to do now is to represent it in dimensions, simply by saying that when we have kilogram, we're going to represent it with capital M. So this is what? Capital M, okay? Then meter means capital L. So we have capital L. Then seconds means capital time. So this is capital time, okay? For minus what? 2. So this is the dimension of tension. Is that clear? Now, from what we've got so far, the correct option to this question is option A. Question 2. A solid weighs 10.0 Newton in air, 6.0 Newton when fully immersed in water, and 7.0 Newton when fully immersed in certain liquid X. Calculate the relative density of certain liquid X. And we have the following options. So what will come to our mind is this: what is relative density? Let's talk about what is relative density. Relative density, RD, is equal to what? Upthrust in liquid over upthrust in what? Water. Is that clear? Now, what is upthrust in liquid? You know that upthrust is that upward force that acts on any object that is partially or totally immersed in a fluid, okay? So you can say that what? Upthrust is weight in air minus weight in water or in liquid, depending how the question is. Now, the upthrust here is going to be what? Weight in air minus weight in liquid, right? Then divided by the upthrust here is weight in air minus weight in what? Water. Is that clear? So let's just simply put in what we have to get our answer. Remember, this object weighs 10.0 Newton in air. So my weight in air becomes 10, right? Minus, okay? Then when immersed in liquid, it weighs what? 7.0. This is 7.0. So say 7, right? Divided by the weight in air, we equally have 10 minus the weight in water, we have what? 6 Newton. So this is what? 6. For us to get the relative density, we are simply going to do what? Subtract. So my relative density, RD, is equals to 10 minus 7 is going to give me what? 3. Divided by 10 minus 6 is going to give me what? 4. Is that clear? Now, this is the relative density from this particular question. Remember, it has no SI what? Unit. Okay? Now, from what we've got so far, the correct option to this question is option C. Question 3. Which formula relates the intensity of sound to the amplitude? Option A, 1 over A. Option B, A square. Option C, A raised power cube. Option D, root of A. Particular formula that relates the intensity of sound to the amplitude is what? The intensity of sound varies directly as the square of the amplitude. So the correct option is option what? B. Please take note of that. Question 4. A concave mirror of radius of curvature 40 centimeters forms a real image twice as large as the object. The object distance is what? We have option A to be 30 centimeters, option B to be 40 centimeters, option C we have 60 centimeters, and option D we have 10 centimeters. Now, you must understand, the first thing we are going to do is for us to state our parameters, okay? Now, from the question, we are given the radius of curvature as what? 40 centimeters. Okay, so let's go. Our R is equals to 40 centimeters. For us to get the focal length, our focal length is equal to what? Radius of curvature over what? 2. That is 40/2 to give us 20 centimeters. Okay? Now we must understand something. The question says this concave mirror forms a real image. Real image that is what? Twice. Forms a real image that is what? Twice as large as the object. So if you see this type of question, what you are looking for or what they've been given in that question is what? Magnification. Do you understand? Anytime you see that it forms a real image twice or 3 times the size of an object, it means what? Magnification, right? Now, so let's go. We have magnification is equals to what? 2, right? Then what is magnification? It is equals to v over what? U. Are we there? Now if it is v over u, we can say cross what? Multiply. Therefore my v is equals to what? 2u. So what I'm looking for in this question is what? The object distance, which is u. So what do? Let's use the mirror formula by saying that what? 1 over f is equals to 1 over u plus what? 1 over v, right? Now we make it the subject by saying this is 1 over what? 20 is equals to 1 over u plus 1 over, my v is what? 2u. This is what? 2u, right? Okay, so what are we going to do? Let's find the LCM. The LCM is what? 2u. So let's go. We have 1 over 20 is equals to, my LCM of u and 2u is what? 2u, right? So u into 2 is going to give me what? 2. 2 times 1 is 2 plus, this is going to give me what? 1. 1 times 1 is what? 1. Is that clear? So I'm going to have what? This is 3 over what? 2u. Is that clear? So if we say that 1 over 20 is equals to 3 over what? 2u. Can we say cross multiply? You can say cross multiply. Cross multiply. 2u is equals to what? 2 times 20 is 60. Is that clear? Then therefore u is equals to 60 divided by 2, which is going to give me 30 centimeters. Is that clear? So the only thing that is somehow tricky in this question is that they give us the magnification even without telling you. So when you see a question that says forms real image twice as large as the object, that statement alone means that the magnification is equal to what? 2. Do we understand? So this is how to solve this type of problem in case you see it in your exam. Okay, now from what we've gotten so far, the correct option to this question is option A. Question 5. The property that allows a material to stretch without breaking is called option A, ductibility, option B, elasticity, option C, malleability, option D, plasticity. Now before I can pick the correct answer, let me explain the one after the other, okay? Ductibility is the ability to be stretched without breaking, while elasticity is the ability of a material to return to its original shape and size after the distorting force has been removed. Malleability is the ability to be shaped or molded without what? Breaking. Plasticity is the ability to undergo permanent deformation without what? Breaking. So from all these I've listed out, the correct option to this question is option what? A, which is what? Ductibility. Alright. Question 6. A force of 4,500 Newton is applied to a 1,500 kilogram block on a rough road, causing it to accelerate at 2 meters per second square. What is the magnitude of the frictional force? Now for us to solve this question, let us use a diagram, okay? Now we have this. This is the block. And the mass of it is what? This is the reaction of it on the road. Now look at it. This is the direction of the motion. And this is the frictional what? Frictional force, right? Now from the question, they said a force of 4,500 Newton is applied. That means that the force, look at the force here. The force of what? 4,500 Newton, right? Is acting on this body. So that means this force is actually dragging this body to move in this direction, while the frictional force is acting opposite, okay? Then the reaction of this body is acting up. That reaction happens to be the mass of the body multiplied by what? Acceleration due to gravity, because that the weight is acting down and weight is equal to what? Mg, which is equal to my reaction, right? So let me get that total force on the body. The total force on the body is equal to what? To my mass, and my mass is 1500 multiplied by acceleration is what? A. But here what we are using is the horizontal acceleration, okay, which is what? A, right? So we give the value to be what? 2. Then the total force is 3000 Newton, right? Now the question is, calculate the frictional force. For us to calculate the frictional force, we must remember that the total force acting on this body, that is, we call it the net force acting on this body, is equals to what? The applied force, the one we applied, right? Then minus the frictional force. I hope that is clear. Now if that is the case, what you're looking for now is the frictional force, okay, of which you know that the net force in this question is what? 3000, okay, but the applied force, that is A, this one was applied on the body. The applied force, look at it, is given as what? 4500. So for me to get the frictional force, okay, I'm going to make it the subject simply by saying what? My frictional force Fr is equals what? My applied force minus what? The net force acting on the body. Is that clear? This is the applied force 4500, okay? Now we're going to say that what? The frictional force is equals to the applied force, which is 45 minus the 3000. Is that clear? The frictional force on this body becomes 1500 Newton. Do you understand what I explained? So if you come across a question this way, this is how you are going to solve it. I hope that is clear. Right. Question 7. The main supply of RMS is 230 volt. What is the peak voltage? And we have the following options. What that will come to your mind is this. There's the relationship connecting the peak and root mean square values, okay? And that relationship is what? VRMS is equals to what? V naught over root 2. Now since we are looking for the peak value of the voltage, which is V naught, we are going to make it what? The subject by saying this is over what? 1 cross multiply, right? Now what do we have? V naught is equals to what? VRMS what? Root 2. And some of you, what that kept them from not solving this problem was that they don't know what is root 2, okay? Because there's no root in the calculator. So, but we can also get it by saying that this is what? My VRMS is given as what? 230 multiplied by my root 2 is what? 1.414. So get note of that. Root 2 is 1.414. So that is 1.414, right? Okay, by the time you multiply it, it's going to give us 325.22 volt, right? Now this number is 2, is not up to 5, so you can just leave our answer to be what? 325 volt. Is that okay? Now from what we've got so far, the correct option to this question is option D. Question 8. The energy stored in an inductor of inductance 5 millihenry when a current of 6 amperes flows through it is what? So we have the following options. So let's just solve it out, okay? Now we have the inductor of inductance L to be 5 millihenry. Remember that anytime you see any small letter attached to a number that is not its usual unit, that means that symbol meant something and it is supposed to be converted, okay? Simply this is 5 multiplied by what? 10 power minus 3, right? So you must remove this milli. It's as simple as that, okay? Then what's the current? Current is given as what? 6 amperes. And the formula for energy stored in an inductor is equals to E equals to half Li what? Square. Let's just substitute into what we have, okay? So we have this is half times. So what's my L? My L is now what? I can say 5 times 10 to the power minus 3, right? Okay, so what's my I? My I is 6. I will now say times what? 6 square. Is that clear? Now by the time you work it out, we have that E is equals to, let's go, this is, when you divide this, you have 1, divide, you have 2.5, okay? Now this is 2.5 times 10 to the power minus 3, okay? Then multiply by 36. Is that clear? Now, by the time you multiply, you're going to have So the answer is 0.0 what? 9. If you want to change it to standard form, it's going to be what? 9 times 10 to the power of what? Minus 2 joules. I hope that is clear. Now the correct option to this question is option D. Question 9. An ebonite rod rubbed with 4 attracts a glass rod rubbed with silk because option A. Ebonite has a negative charge while glass has a positive charge. Option B. Ebonite has a positive charge while glass has a negative charge. Option C. Both have negative charges. Option D. Both have positive charges. Now you must understand that when an ebonite rod is rubbed with 4, the ebonite rod is going to acquire a negative charge while 4 is going to acquire a positive charge, okay? Likewise, when a glass rod is rubbed with silk, the glass rod acquires equal but opposite charge, right? Which is positive charge, while the silk acquires what? Negative charge. So for ebonite to attract what? Glass rod, that means the ebonite is what? Negative, while the glass rod is what? Positive. I hope you understand. Okay, from what I've explained, the correct answer to this question is option A. Question 10. The image of an object is located 6 meters behind a convex mirror. If its magnification is 0.6, calculate the focal length of the mirror. We have the following options, so let's work it out. Now one thing that will come to your mind is this is a convex mirror and the image is what? Behind, okay? So that means the image is negative. The image distance is negative. So I would say that my V is equals to minus 6 meters, okay? Then if the magnification is 0.6, so my magnification is equals to 0.6. You remember that magnification is what? Image distance over object distance. So if I say cross multiply, therefore my V is equals to what? 0.6 what? U. Do you understand? But my V is given as minus 6, so that is minus 6 is equals to 0.6 what? U, right? So I divide both sides by 0.6. 0.6, okay? So what do I have? My U is equals what? Minus 10 centimeters. Now let us go. We now have what? We have our V and we have our U. Let's solve for the focal length. So that is 1 over F is equals to 1 over U plus 1 over what? V, right? This mirror formula is the same thing as saying that the focal length is equals to UV over what? U plus V, right? So let's apply it and see what we have. What's my U? My U is what? Minus 10. So this is what? Minus 10 multiplied by, my V is minus what? 6. So this is minus 6, okay? And divided by, what is my U? My U is minus 10. I will say minus 10, okay? Then plus bracket minus 6. Do you understand? You have that this minus times minus is what? Plus. So 10 times 6 is what? 60, okay? Divided by, this is going to give me what? Minus 10 plus times minus is minus. So this is minus 10 minus 6. It's going to give me minus 16. Minus 16, okay? Then the focal length is equals to, by the time you divide, you're going to have minus 3.75 centimeters. Now I know why the focal length is negative, because it's a convex what? Mirror. The focal length and the image distance must be what? Negative. That is why the answer is what? Negative. Is that clear? Now from what we've got so far, the correct option to this question is option A. If this video was able to help someone out there, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications to get notified each time I post videos. And lastly, do not forget to share so that other students that are preparing for this same forthcoming exam can see it and learn from there. I will see you next time in the next one. Bye for now.